I've never used this site in my life. I'm 28, female. But I knew people were helpful here, and I never thought my situation would be so serious that I would fail to solve it myself. I need opinions from you guys, and I'll try to summarize the story as much as possible, but I just need to give you the backstory, or else you won't understand where I'm standing right now. First, let's talk about my boyfriend. We've known each other since we were babies. He's my neighbor. We've been best friends since we were little kids. Some time back, we realized we were more than just friends and decided to give dating a shot, and now 3 years later, we're still together. And happier than ever. Despite spending so much time together, we never get tired of one another, and we're like a perfect storybook couple, bonding over our love for nerdy things and our shared habits. Now let's talk about my mom. I'd always had a rocky relationship with my mom, and we just never clicked. She wanted the ideal, preppy daughter that she could boast about to her little kiddie parties. And on the other hand, I've always been the electric kid. She wanted me to shop at stores like Zara, Bloomingdale, and I preferred thrifties. I love making my own clothes and rag stock. All of her forceful nature was caused by her friends at the kiddie party, most particular neighbor who also happens to be my boyfriend's mom. They have a weird relationship. See, you remember when we were kids and we used to compare things with our friends? Like whose father got what and who had chocolates and all. They're exactly like that, but I would say that they're even worse. Both of our fathers were good friends, and as their children were best friends too, both of our mothers were forced to be civil with each other. They used to compare each other's possessions, like whose husband got what for their birthday, and they would compare the prices of the gifts to belittle each other. But the situation grew worse when my father got fired from his high-paying job due to some physical condition, and later he had to settle for a mediocre job. He had to cut down on his expenses for many things, and on the other hand, her frenemies, husband, was caught cheating on her wife. They hid the matter and moved on with their lives for the sake of her son, but in the neighborhood he's known for sleeping about. So both of our mothers got their subjects to drag each other down. Because of the constant comparison amongst our mothers, we suffered a lot. As my boyfriend and I were the same age, I was constantly called out for various reasons, and there's no denying that my boyfriend's family was pretty wealthy. His dad's a businessman and a good one. So I'm sure you can imagine their income while my family barely survived on our combined income together. I used to work part-time jobs, and I had to give, most of the paycheck up, including the tips, so I don't have much to myself. I'm a waitress, and what I do get goes into groceries. During a tough financial period, I often went without food while my boyfriend ate out frequently. He would wait outside my work with food, but I would sometimes lie saying I'd eaten so he could just focus on his studies. This affected my own studies, leading to a drop in grades, which upset my mom. Only my aunt understood, but my mom cared more about boasting about my grades to her friends. So we argued about this a lot, especially when she checked my grades while I was at work. The reason my grades were so low was that I never had the energy or time to do projects. I woke up, went to school, then went to work until 10 p.m. on school nights and at 1 to 2 a.m. on weekends, then went home, cleaned, and if I had an appetite, ate food, and then went to sleep, and the cycle repeated. I was frankly beyond exhausted when I got home, but my mom saw all of those as an excuse to make her feel low in front of her friends. During our arguments, my mom would say, "Why can't you be more like Liam?" It's something she used to say before, but I was already in a really bad temper and burst back at her saying, "Why can't you be like my aunt?" She glared at me like she saw a spirit. I began apologizing profusely, and she slapped me and told me to get to my room, so I did. That night, I tried to talk to her, but she just ignored me. I know what I said was inappropriate, but I can't help but feel like she caused it. My aunt was the total opposite, exceptionally supportive, a good listener for my hardships, and very compassionate as well. I have a special bond with her that I've never had with my mom. Thankfully, this financial situation changed after a few years, when my father finally got a good gig. I wanted to be a lawyer, and I resumed my studies properly after that. I was a few years behind, but I was okay with it as my boyfriend fully supported me mentally. His mother also did not leave him in peace either. She never compared me with him, though, but she forced him in many ways to be the perfect son. We both were anime nerds. That's how we used to spend our weekends since we were kids. But his mother tried to stop him from watching that many times because, according to her, it's not gentlemanly behavior. We went through many harsh treatments for that, and I won't explain those or else it will take pages, however. She blamed me for introducing her son to those useless things, and both of our fathers had to be involved to solve the matter. He also had an eating disorder in middle school. He was extremely skinny, and of course my mom would not let it slide. She commented to her mother just to make her mad about how he looked unhealthy and said that he looked like an alien. And because of that, his mom forcefully tried to feed him, and that made the situation tenfold. I knew I should not speak out to elderly people, but I could not handle it and confronted both of them. He suffered a lot during that time due to this insecurity. Well, when our finances improved, my mom became obsessed with keeping up with appearances with her frenemy, always demanding new things after each kiddie party. After I became a successful lawyer, I took care of her request and even suggested my dad retired for his health. Recently, we got into an argument, and when she was demanding a new set of dining table chairs, we already had a set, and they were in perfect condition, but according to my mom, it was too plain compared to the other one her friend got recently. When I realized my logic was going nowhere, I had no choice. So I ordered 6 chairs for her, 4 of which had some missing components. The suppliers said that they would replace the bad chairs and send the couriers to take them in with the next working days. It was a work day, so when they came to take it, I was at the office. I called Mom to tell her just to show them the packages and asked her to manage the process. As I was in the middle of a meeting, she starts throwing tantrums asking why she had to do all the work in the house, while my best friend took care of everything in his house. She said that I should learn from him and treat her well. I was so fed up with her comparing me with my best friend that I hung up the phone, after saying that if she did not manage the replacement process, she would only have 2 chairs to boast about, and it's up to her what she wants. By the way, both of our mothers know that we're best friends, but they don't yet know that we've been dating for 3 years. I'm 100% sure that they won't take it well. They consider us as objects they could compare to for useless battles. But recently we're planning to move out of our house and live together. Sooner or later we have to tell them and they have to be okay with it. Can you guys give us some advice so that this will have a peaceful or less damaging moving out process? They have issues with our friendship, so we can only imagine what they will do after they find out we're dating. Comment number 1. Oh man, the situation made them like this, every person needs something to live by. According to your mother, comparison is a way, it's just a toxic trait. I know you guys should approach her differently to cure it though. Give her something else where she can busy herself. Also, I think you guys are not polite at home. Cause why would she act up all of a sudden when you asked her to take care of the chairs? This is why I said before the different approach is necessary. You could have politely asked her beforehand, and you should make it sound like a favor. I'm sure no human will act aggressively after that. Update number 1. Sorry for the big gap between the post. I know a bunch of you asked for an update, and we went through a lot in the past few months. But before going back to the update, I think I should clear up some questions you guys were asking. Some of you wanted to know when we had our financial loss. We faced financial issues 2 times. Once when I was in high school and the second when I was in college. Both times it happened due to my father's illness. When I talked about my mother arguing about my grades, it was in high school, and during the second time's financial loss I was in college. Some of you asked what happened to my father. Actually, he's weak all the time because of his low blood pressure. He fainted a few times in his office, which is why they advised him to step back from the job as he was not a reliable employee. However, as I've cleared up the confusion, I will address that one comment saying I was rude to my mother when I was asking her to take care of the chair's replacement process. How can you tell? When I got the reply from the supplier that they would replace it during the weekday, I informed both my mom and dad. Mom basically ignored it, so Dad agreed to manage it, but when they came, Dad wasn't home. So I had to tell Mom suddenly from the office. Okay, enough blabbering, let's get right into the update. Yeah, you guys really helped me out with your ideas, I'll tell you that. So, after reading all of the comments, I came to the conclusion that some parents are like that, especially when they have a child of the same age. Some of the incidents you guys have shared were funny. Me and Liam had a great time reading them, and however, we thought we would tell them casually. We're both adults, so there's no way they can stop us from being in a relationship. We both know that they would not take it casually, and we were ready for it, but they were too harsh beyond our imagination. I arranged a dinner at my house and invited everyone. After dinner, we said everything, even about the moving out thing. Everybody was shocked, and our fathers took it well. They even said they suspected something like this and confessed that they even talked about it within each other before. And they come to the mothers. They looked so unimpressed and traumatized. They could not say anything to us in front of our fathers and did not even utter a word. We were hoping for some kind of response as we were ready to solve it right there in front of everyone. But who knew that would be a calm before the storm. The next morning I woke up and I was ready to get out of my room only to find it was locked from the outside. My phone was not with me either, and I screamed for my parents to let me out. My mom came, and without opening the door, she said from the outside that she would open it, only after she fixed the situation. She said I betrayed her by getting mixed up with her enemy, and it was my plan to let her down. I tried to explain that she was being overly dramatic and that it's not about her at all. We've been in love for more than 3 years, Mom, and we're old enough to live on our own no matter whether she likes it or not. She got angry when I accidentally revealed that my aunt knew about the relationship. That day, I was held captive until Father came and opened up the door. My dad was furious about the behavior as well, and I told Liam everything. He said his mom wasn't happy either. So we decided to have a family meeting just to resolve everything. I'll let you guys know how it goes. Wish me luck. Updates number 2. Hey, I'm back, guys. I just wanted to say sorry really quick. Sorry about the late update. I know many of you guys were curious about the meeting, but I still cannot update because of a tragedy that occurred in Liam's family. His father passed away a few days after the meeting due to cardiac arrest. Liam had to leave his job to take care of his mother and the business. It happened almost a year ago, and everything's getting back to normal. By normal, I mean our mother's behavior as well. And by the way, in the meeting, everybody concluded that I and Liam would be perfect for each other and that both of our mothers had to accept it. We moved out after a few months, and we finally have a live-in relationship. Oh yeah! After that, we encouraged our mothers to be friends and suggested they go on a vacation. We booked a ticket and gave it to them, and they agreed with a sour face. But it was a disaster. Just after 2 days, my mom calls me to pick her up, or else she would end her, existence. The reasoning was absolutely ridiculous, I thought. Apparently, my boyfriend's mother was wearing revealing clothing and seducing men, and it was disgusting to her that she was flaunting how many clothes that she had. After all this vacation drama, we politely explained to them that if they did not want to get along, fine. They could live on their own, but they should respect our relationship. They were not having it, especially my boyfriend's mother. Their saga of breaking us up continues. Well, for example, I needed to attend a 6-month program in LA. It was related to my job. LAX. It was supposed to give me huge leverage in my career, and we decided to keep a long-distance relationship for, it was only 6 months. My future mother-in-law, hopefully, questioned my loyalty. She called her son and asked, quote, if I really cared for her son, then why would I move? She even told him that her friend could set him up with people that she knew, and of course he immediately said no. He wasn't going to date anybody else, and then it took a bit of clarifying for his mom to understand why I moved. Well, I'm glad that he defended me when I wasn't there. She took them to dinner and suggested that she could set him up with anybody. He ignored her points and said that if she could find a girl hotter than his girlfriend, oh boy, he would say yeah. He also said that he knew how that's impossible, so she'll never persuade him for another girl. He was wrong in assuring me, though. That would be enough to stop her. She pushed the issue. She was so pressed with us being together that she commented on their kitty party that I couldn't do better. which is why I'm clinging to her rich son. She even said I'm a gold digger, and of course my mom would act on it, and since then she's been trying to convince me that a long-distance relationship won't work, and I should meet somebody in LA. Every day she's trying to convince me to cheat on my man, because it'll prove that I can do many things without him. Well, I understand where it's coming from, but they're only thinking about themselves and being selfish about the situation. Not once did they care about what would happen to us if they broke us up. We have a pure relationship. They're trying to break it. We had told them that they could live without accepting it, but still they're being jerks. I'm in LA right now, and I'm going to stay there for 2 more months. I'm scared about everything. What if they use this distance to their advantage and actually manage to break us apart? Guys, I'm worried. I'm worried and I don't know what to do. Updates number 3. Well, update time. So I should give you an update after coming back from LA. Many of you have asked me where I live. I live in Texas. I'm a Texas girl. Mentally, we were going through a lot of up and downs due to the constant pressure we were facing from them, and I can't believe both of our mothers would go that low to force us to cheat on each other just to, their little rivalry. I can't believe it! At the beginning, I thought they were harmless, silly me. I wanted to disclose one incident that happened when I was in LA. It still haunts me to think about it. So my boyfriend planned to do a group call with my aunt and his aunt. So we're on this Discord call when his auntie, who was living abroad, did a group call together with his mom. Well, she had no idea that she didn't accept me, by the way. My boyfriend was just seeing profits after taking over his father's business, and they were talking about it. And I was anxious to open up my mouth because of his mom. The conversation went south when both of our aunts started talking about us. And Liam also mentioned that he wanted to get married to me. I was blushing at the sudden marriage conversation, and because of that, I totally forgot about his mother. She immediately asked my boyfriend if he had recently hired any pretty girls in his workplace, with which I got a bit upset about. She never showed her rejecting attitude in front of her relatives. I was the first time here. Of course, my boyfriend answered no and said that I was the only appealing girl to his eyes. Then she said her son's type was tall and blonde, implying that I was not fitting for it. I got really hurt by that, especially since these days I've been feeling very insecure because of them, and hearing that in my face destroyed me. Sure, I don't care if somebody fits my boyfriend's ideal type, because my boyfriend still chose to love me, but I just feel like that was something harsh to say. I truly feel that she was making it clear to everyone that as my boyfriend's partner, I wasn't respected. Well, on the other side, when my mom heard what happened from my aunt, she went ballistic. And right after I landed in Texas, she pushed me with whoever guy she knew to date me. She even said to my face that if I had any respect left, I should listen to her. I'm really in a bad situation. Please help me. I just want to figure out how to get our mother to stop this whole crazy thing that they got going on. Update number 4. Yes, guys. It's been 6 long months, and I'm here for the final update. Sorry for the delay, but I have lots of things to update. And this time there's something positive. We had to go through a lot to have this happy moment at the end. So, in my last update, I expressed how I pressed and I was feeling, because of both of our moms. One was just trying to belittle me, and another was trying to convince me to cheat on my man, who truly loved me. He was also getting heckled by his mother, as every other day she would send someone to his office with some kind of excuse, and I was called clingy. But they were the ones clingy to our relationship like a pest in a juicy plant. Also, they were financially dependent on us, so we thought that we should give them a lesson for attempting to destroy our lives. Yes, we decided to elope. Liam's been planning to open a branch in LA, and now he's planning to make his headquarters there too. My company's also offering a job with a higher salary there, so we thought it would be perfect for us to run away and start a new family. I told my father about it and promised to send him money for his living. I told him not to help my mother financially, and he fully supported us. Well, the good news is that we not only moved to LA, but we also got married. We found a 2-bedroom apartment and everything was going fine without their interruption. But on the other side, our mothers were going crazy. They never thought that we would do this and thought that they would get their way with us, and they went into each other's house accusing each other, saying one of their children had manipulated the other. They mostly went crazy because they had no money. Liam's headquarter building was kept secret by his company after his order, and my father pretended like he had no idea where we went upon the forceful inquiry. This is how they spent the last few months. They were using their tiny bit of savings to keep feeding the family, and to be honest, I know many will think this is too much, and we should be more respectful to our elders. But can you tell me any other way to fix them? I'll wait and listen. We've tried everything from being polite to aggressive, but nothing seems to have worked, and I mean nothing. They should know what torment feels like, and while they were miserable, we're enjoying everything to the fullest.